Hold up your hand. Look at it. The skin, the lines on your palm, the fingernails. It feels like the most ordinary thing in the world. It's yours. But nothing in that hand was made on Earth, and almost none of it is actually yours. Let's start with what you're made of. Not muscles, not organs. Go smaller. Go all the way down. Your body is a pile of atoms, an enormous pile, something like 7 billion of them, packed into the shape of a person. And here's the first strange thing. There aren't many different kinds. Take 100 atoms out of your body at random. About 60 of them are hydrogen, about 24 are oxygen, about 12 are carbon. Add nitrogen, calcium, and phosphorus, and you've got basically all of it. 6 ingredients. That's a human being. Everything else, the iron in your blood, the iodine in your throat, the zinc in your bones, is a rounding error, a pinch of seasoning. So, you're a very simple recipe. But the ingredients came from wildly different places, and some of them are almost impossibly old. Let's take the biggest group first, hydrogen. More than half of your atoms are hydrogen. It's in your water, your fat, your blood, your DNA. And every single one of those hydrogen atoms is about 13.8 billion years old. That's not a mistake. That's the age of the universe. Because hydrogen wasn't made in a star. It wasn't made on a planet. It was made in the first few minutes of everything. Picture the early universe as a fireball. Impossibly hot. Impossibly dense. Nothing solid, nothing cold, nothing with a shape. As it expands, it cools. And in a window of just a few minutes, the very first atomic cores form. Hydrogen, helium, a whisper of lithium. That's it. That's the entire menu. Then the window closes. The universe gets too cold and too thin, and it stops making hydrogen forever. So, sit with that for a second. The hydrogen in the water on your tongue right now has existed since almost the beginning of time. It has drifted through space for billions of years, doing nothing, waiting. And for the last few decades, it's been you. But hydrogen alone can't build a person. You can't make a bone out of hydrogen. You can't make a thought. For that, you need the heavy stuff. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium. And in that early universe, none of it existed. Not one atom. So, where did it come from? Only one place in the universe is hot enough and heavy enough to build new elements. The inside of a star. Here's what's happening in a star's core, right now, in trillions of them. Gravity is crushing inward. It squeezes hydrogen so hard that the atoms slam together and stick. 2 hydrogens fuse into helium, and that fusion pushes back out. That's a star. A permanent argument between gravity pulling in and fire pushing out. It can last billions of years, but it can't last forever. Eventually, the hydrogen runs low. The fire weakens. Gravity starts winning again. The core is squeezed tighter. It gets hotter. And at that new temperature, something new becomes possible. Helium starts fusing. 3 helium cores slam together, and out comes carbon. That's where you came from. All of it. Every carbon atom in your body was welded together in the belly of a dying star. And carbon isn't the end. Add another helium, and you get oxygen. The oxygen in the air you're breathing. The oxygen in the water in your cells. Built the same way. And nitrogen? Nitrogen is the one everybody forgets, but it's in every protein in your body. It's in every rung of your DNA. Without it, there's no code and no you. It gets cooked up in stars too, in a slower cycle running alongside the main fire. Here's the odd part though. You are swimming in nitrogen right now. Roughly 4 out of every 5 molecules of air you breathe is nitrogen, and you cannot use a single one of them. The atoms are bolted together so tightly that your body can't pry them apart. You breathe them in. You breathe them straight back out, untouched. To get nitrogen into you, something else has to crack it open first. Bacteria in the soil, a bolt of lightning, a factory. Then a plant takes it up. Then you eat the plant, or you eat the animal that ate the plant. Even the air can't hand you your own ingredients directly. Everything has to be passed along. But there's a problem. All of this is happening deep inside a star, locked away, under crushing pressure, thousands of miles from the surface. Carbon and oxygen are useless to you in there. Somehow, the star has to give them back. And that's the part I love most. For a star like our sun, the ending is gentle. Near the end of its life, it swells up, goes unstable, and starts shrugging off its outer layers. Big, slow clouds of gas drifting out into space. Carbon and oxygen released quietly over thousands of years. But for the big stars, the ending is violent. A star much heavier than the sun keeps going. Carbon fuses into neon, neon into magnesium, magnesium into silicon. The core layers itself like an onion, each shell burning something heavier than the one outside it, until it reaches iron. And iron is where the machine breaks. Fusing iron doesn't release energy, it swallows it. So the fire in the core stops, instantly. Gravity has been waiting billions of years for this moment. The core collapses in about a second, and the star tears itself apart in an explosion so bright it can outshine an entire galaxy. A supernova. In that blast, everything the star spent its whole life building gets thrown out into space. Oxygen, calcium, iron. The calcium in your teeth was flung out of an exploding star. The iron in your blood, the thing that makes it red. The thing carrying oxygen to your brain right now. That iron only exists because stars die. You are, quite literally, standing inside the wreckage. And a few things in you needed something even wilder than a supernova. Gold, silver, the iodine your throat can't work without. We think those come from the rarest, most extreme events we know of, including two dead stars, collapsed and impossibly dense, spiraling into each other and colliding. That crash happens somewhere out in the dark, and billions of years later, a trace of it ends up in your neck. So, put the whole story together. Around 4.5 billion years ago, a cloud of gas and dust starts collapsing in this corner of the galaxy. That cloud is not fresh, it's leftovers. It's the ash of stars that lived and died before the sun ever existed. Out of that cloud comes the sun, and the planets, and eventually the rocks, the oceans, the bacteria, the fish, the animals, and you. Every heavy atom in your body is secondhand. Every one of them passed through a star that had to die to let it out. Carl Sagan put it simply, we're made of star stuff. He wasn't being poetic, he was being literal, but here's the twist, and this is the part almost nobody tells you. Those atoms aren't yours. You didn't get handed a set of atoms at birth that stay with you until the end. That's not how a body works at all. You are a river, not a rock. Every day, atoms pour in. Food, water, air, and every day, atoms pour back out. Look at the carbon in your arm. Where was it a year ago? Probably in a plant. That plant pulled it out of the sky as carbon dioxide and stitched it into a leaf. Before that, it was floating in the air. Before that, maybe in the ocean, or in an animal, or in something that burned. You ate it, you built it into yourself, and you're already giving it back. You breathe carbon out with every single breath. Your bones feel permanent, they're not. Your skeleton is constantly being torn down and rebuilt by cells that dig it out and lay it back in. Your red blood cells last a few months. The lining of your gut is replaced in days. You are being quietly swapped out, atom by atom, your entire life. There are exceptions. Some parts of you really are old. The neurons in the thinking part of your brain, we think, are mostly with you from the start. The lens of your eye keeps proteins made before you could walk. Your tooth enamel is the same enamel you grew as a child, but most of the rest? Rented. So think about what that means. The atoms that made your body when you were 7 years old are not in you now. They're in the soil, in the air, in the sea, in other people. You have already given away almost everything you were made of. And you kept being you the entire time, which raises a question that sounds simple and isn't. If the atoms keep changing, what exactly are you? Not the material. The material is on loan. You're a pattern, an arrangement, a shape that atoms are passing through, like a whirlpool in a river. The water is never the same water. The whirlpool stays. And the borrowing goes both ways. Take a breath, just a normal one. You just pulled in something like 10 billion trillion molecules of air. There's a famous back-of-the-envelope calculation about this. The atmosphere is enormous, but a single breath holds such a staggering number of molecules that, over the years, they get stirred and spread across the entire planet. Which means, by the numbers, the air you just took in, It very probably holds molecules that have been inside other people, strangers, enemies, people who died long before you were born. That's not mysticism, that's arithmetic, and a very well-mixed sky. You are breathing the world, and the world is breathing you. And one day, you'll hand all of it back. Every atom you are using right now was part of something else before you, and it will be part of something else after you. The carbon goes back to the air and into a tree. The calcium sinks back into the ground. The iron gets picked up and used again. Nothing about you gets destroyed. It just gets returned and reissued, which means there's a decent chance that some of the atoms in your fingers were once inside a dinosaur, or a forest that burned down, or a person who lived 1,000 years ago and never knew your name. That's not a nice thought. That's bookkeeping. The Earth has been shuffling the same limited deck for 4.5 billion years. Your one hand dealt from it, and the cards go back in. So let's go back to your hand. The hydrogen in it is 13.8 billion years old, made in the first minutes of the universe. The carbon was fused in the core of a dying star. The oxygen too. The calcium in the bones under that skin was thrown across space by an explosion you could have seen from another galaxy. The iron in the blood under those fingernails is shrapnel from a dead sun. And all of it is temporary, passing through, on its way to becoming something else. You are not the owner of any of this. You're a caretaker, a very short-term one. Almost every atom in you is older than the Earth, and every atom in you is just visiting. For a few decades, this one specific pile of ancient wreckage gets to be warm, and curious, and able to look down at its own hand and wonder where it came from. That's the strangest part of the whole story. The universe built you out of scrap, out of leftovers, out of the ash of things that burned out long before there was anyone here to watch. And somehow, the scrap woke up. So close your hand. Every star that had to die to make it is long gone. But for now, for a little while, it's yours to move.